object or the parameters to the another class. So when we are passing something from one class to another class, we say it is a interaction. It is communicating, or there is a interface created between two classes. So when there is an interaction between two classes, how it can be modeled. And then activity, just any activity, how it can be modeled. Okay, so I'll give you some scenarios further. Then functional modeling, how exactly the functions will be taken. The function means it is not your concept function, any function, okay, anything, your program or your application or whatever it may be for which you are coding or for which you are developing your project will be having some particular goal, object. Okay, so to achieve that goal, what are all the functions taken place? So how we are going to model those functions. And then data flow diagram. So data, how the data is going to flow from one place to another place. Like from one function you may pass the data to another, or you may have a database. From the database you are going to fetch the data for your program, or you are gathering the data at the time of execution. That data you are going to store it in the database. So how the data is flowing from one end to another end. So those things will be depicted using various modeling. So all these things are your OA, object oriented analysis and design. So though the first half of the unit I am not going to read now, in another 1 or 2 classes we will read, but still you need to know what is the requirements analysis. So to start anything, if you just recollect the first 5 phases of the framework activities, the first one is the communication. So in the communication phase, we will gather the requirements, right? So we will get to know what are all the things required for the project, what are the need and requirement of the user, and to achieve or to give a solution for their problem, what are all the materials you require, what are all the informations you require, what are all the components you require, all those things you analyze and procure it. Only then we can plan. So actually your communication and planning will be interconnected. In the planning only you will plan to give a solution for a problem, what are all the things you need to capture. Whereas in the first phase you only will get the requirement of the user alone, not to give a solution, just to gather the information, gather the requirement from the user end, and then to make it as a solution or give a solution for their problem, how you are going to approach the problem. To solve the problem, what are all the things you require with respect to the component, with respect to the language, technology, data, and all those things will be gathered only in the planning stage. Okay, so planning phase. So gathering the requirement. Once you gather the requirements, you have everything. How you are going to analyze it, how we are going to use it, which phase or on which module we are going to use, where, when, how we are going to, all those information. Those things will be analyzed. That is what we did in requirements analysis. So normally requirements analysis allows us to elaborate the basic requirements established on various ways. Okay. So suppose you are solving a problem. It is of a real-time problem. So what do you mean by real-time problem? Real-time problem? Real life la nadakradhukku real-time problem peru. Abhiya. So real-time problem means you do something with respect to the temperature currently what is. Okay, not about the data you collected from yesterday. That point of time, what is the data you collect? Okay, so a flight, you are traveling in the flight, or the pilot or the Air Force will be seeing the signal of that particular moment only, right? So they are going to land. To land the flight, they need to get the signal from the landing place only, not 1 day before what they collected or few hours before. Okay, so they would have planned properly, they would have started. When they are going to reach there, it may be full of foggy. They'll not be able to land. Okay, so they cannot get proper signal, they'll not be able to land the flight safely. So till they get signal, till the fog gets cleared, they'll not be able to land. So that point of time, what is the condition, climatic condition, temperature condition, or a critical patient is getting treated. So 24/7 the data will be captured and analyzed. Okay, so you see the pulse rate or whatever it may be, the health condition, health data they require to give a treatment. That moment they have to see accordingly, they have to give the treatment. Okay, so you are taking a X-ray or scan something like that 6 months before. Later period of time you met with some accident or some problem has happened with your health, and if you say that 6 months before only I took a scan, okay, that is not going to help you out. But real time now, that moment, every now and then, based on the data, we will be giving a solution. Okay, so real time problem depends on that moment data. It may be a temperature, climate, weather, could be of anything. Depends upon the problem what we are taking. Okay, right. So elaborate on basic requirements established during the inception, elicitation and negotiation. Like at the time of collecting the requirement gathering we will read later. Okay, at the time of collecting the requirement itself, we will have some, we will ask them to explain elaborative manner, or though we get only little amount of data, we will try to understand very clearly in elaborate manner, and then we may have some negotiation. Like though I am doing a project for second year IT students, it is not only for this batch alone. When I do a project, when I make a software for second year IT, it should be used for next year or next few years too. Okay, so in such a way I will have some negotiation, I will add on some requirements in that, only then I will use for my project development. Okay, so these things must be part of it. So the requirements modeling normally will be of various model. The basic model I will explain you. First one is scenario based. Scenario based model. Take down that requirement modeling, requirements modeling, action, results in one or more of the following types of model. One or more of the following types of model. May take only one model or more than one model also. So scenario based model, data model, class oriented model, and flow oriented model. So what do you mean by the scenario based model? Scenario based models of the requirements from the point of view of the actor. So here we will be using two points over here always. One is actor, other one is user stories. Actor and user stories. What is actor? So the one who is connected with the project, we call it as an actor. Okay. For example, you are an applicant. You are applying for something. You are applying for passport. So you are the applicant. So you are the actor of that particular process. Okay, and definitely when you are applying to somewhere, you will be applying, there must be an administrator. There must be an administrator who will be checking your application and all. So on the administrator side, the administrator will be an actor. So this actor will be represented by a diagram that you would have seen in the last lab, like this. So this is the actor symbol. So any character who is the main point of that particular process, we say they are the actor. And the actor requires some activity. Activity will be denoted by some flow, some diagrams will be used. Okay, so actor point of view, from the actor point of view, whatever the modeling we are doing, which we call it as a scenario based. So it may be a student automation system where the student will be the actor. It will be a application of your passport or airport booking system. Like various problems will be there. Depending upon the problem, who is the main point or what is there, who will be the center focus of that particular problem will be the actor. Okay, so based on the actor, the problem getting changed. Based on the actor, the modeling will be done, which we call it as scenario based model. It's clear? So if it is a student automation system, student will be the actor. Okay, if it is a railway booking system, the passenger will be the actor. You are applying for the passport, again the applicant will be the actor. So when it is a passport application, whatever the activities we does, it will definitely vary from the student automation system, and it will vary from the railway ticket booking system. System to system, the activities will vary and the actor also will vary. Clear? So from the actor point of view, whatever the modeling is done, we call it as scenario based model. The second model is the data model that depicts the information domain for the problem. That depicts the information domain for the problem. So data model. So whatever the data is used, if it is a student based system, obviously student name, student marks or student department, some details which is only exclusively connected to the student will be called data. Okay, so based on the data we model the system, we say it is a data model. Okay, so the same student, maybe a student as well as he would have applied for a passport, he would have applied for a ticket. Okay, he would have booked for the ticket. So everywhere the actor is same, but depending upon the process, the actor name or the characteristics is changed, and the data what is required for those system again will be changed. Is it clear? So data, based on the data, the system is designed or model, we call it as data model. The next is class oriented model. Take down. You are not listening to stories. Class oriented model represents object oriented classes. Represents object oriented classes within bracket attributes and operations. Attributes and operations. And the manner in which the classes collaborate to achieve system requirements. I repeat again, class oriented models represent object oriented classes and the manner in which classes collaborate to achieve system requirements. So here this model is to represent object oriented classes where the important attributes will be attributes and the operations. Attributes here, it may be have some data members and there may be some member functions. For example, again, start paniyacha? No. So we create a class where you are going to have some three data members. Let us assume student number, student name and department. Okay, we can say they are the attributes of that particular class. Okay, data members. Similarly, you can have some member functions. So I can have member functions as read and display. Read and display. So this read is a function which will be able to access the data members what I have listed within my class. Within my class. Okay, so only that function what I am defining will be able to access the members what I have put it inside the class. Class is like a capsule where I have put some data members and member functions within that which will not be seen to the outside world. Okay, even main is a outside function. Main will not be able to access whatever I have put it inside the class. I have just made it as a tight binding. Okay, I have just made it as a capsule where some data members, because I want to give privacy to them, and some member functions. Clear? So here object oriented model will consider few attributes and operations. Here the operations are read and display. So read function will be reading the data for the members what I have listed out. Display function will be able to display the content of whatever the numbers I have listed out. Very simple class only I have given you here. Okay, this base like this for various very important programming can be done using class. In the class I put in access not just with any variable. So class will be acting like a user defined data type, just like your structure. Just like your structure. In your structure you cannot have any function. Am I right? Within a structure you can have only few data types. Few data types. Whereas in the class you can even have a function. So or abstract mari create I can have n number of classes for my project. I just keep create. Whenever I require, I create an object to this class. Using this object alone, I will be able to access the members of the class. Again, members are data members as well as member functions. So I am talking so many things about the object oriented thing. In this, the attributes and the operations are my data members, and the member functions are the attributes, and the operations are performing read and display. So how I am going to model all these things? With the help of class oriented model. You got my point? So the first is just any simple thing based on the actor. Now this will be put up inside this and can be done. Suppose I am using a class oriented model where there will be an activity, right? And there will be the activity based on some particular actor, and there will be lot of data used over there. Everything could be brought inside this class oriented model. Clear? So we will be discussing each and every model type one by one. Finally, flow oriented model. Flow oriented model represents the functional elements of the system, and how they transform functional elements of the system and how they transform data as it moves through the system. Functional elements of the system and how they transform data as it moves through the system. So through some function, like as I mentioned, I have a read function where I read data. Okay, so I am having another function. Let us assume it is add. Through this I am going to perform something else. Okay, and this function, whatever it is processing, this will be displayed in the next function. Okay, so here I have taken few functions where this function is only taking the data from the keyboard or from the outside world, and this is processing the data, and the processed data is displayed or given to outside world. So how the data is flowing across the functions in the system. There are various functions in my system, and how my data is flowing across the functions. So I read content or the data from outside world, I am processing the data, and I am displaying it to simple functions I have taken. Like that only any project will be developed where the data will be processed. Okay. So in addition to all this, you have one more model which we call it as behavioral model that depicts behavioral model. Behavioral model that depicts how the system behaves as a consequence of the external events. How the system behaves as the consequence of the external events. Means when we are doing something, some interrupt happens. The interrupt may be suddenly power goes off. That is one external event. Suddenly like you have given print, okay, but in the printer there is no paper or the printer is not connected. Okay, so for these kind of events, how your system is behaving. So that also needs to be modeled. For that we will be modeling, like you need to get your printer driver must be installed in your system and the printer has to be connected with that. It has to be connected with the power. Okay, so printer must be having a power, your CPU must be having a power. You give a printer and paper is available in the printer, then everything will go well. If not, anywhere there is a flaw. Everything is perfect but there is no paper. When the printer is printing the documents, suddenly paper gets over. That's an external event. How it is going to react. When everything is going smoothly, power goes off. How the system is going to react. That will be modeled with the help of behavioral model. So these are all the various models we are going to see now. By combining all that general diagram, any software. Dhanush, I want Dhanush to answer software requirements. Dhanush, I know. Scenario based modeling. Behavioral modeling. So here I can give example, user cases. Either Dhanush, get ready. I will ask you questions. Still I have not asked. So be ready to answer. Question may be of anything. User stories. So from this what you understand? Scenario based modeling, using which we will be able to represent user cases and user stories. So this is connected one. The circle should touch one. It's external circle. So here example for behavioral model, state diagrams. State diagrams. Sequence diagrams. State diagrams. Sequence diagrams. Class models. Okay, Dhanush, sit down. When I ask you, you can answer. But be ready. Class diagrams. Example, class diagrams and collaboration diagrams. Collaboration diagrams. So there are so many things are there, but very importantly, these things will be modeled with the support of all this or on these names. Next, flow model. Example, DFT, data flow diagram, data modules, data flow diagram and data models. So in short or combining of all, you can remember any software requirements will be modeled in this manner. It may be scenario based model. So any actor based diagrams will be modeled on the name of scenario based model. Other user cases user stories. Any user stories could be represented by that behavioral model. Example, state diagram, sequence diagram, as I have mentioned, for the external event how the system is reacting or responding. Very simple example, like when you are entering into the classroom, there is the fan was off. So switch will be in the off condition. The state of the machine, the state of the switch will be off. So you press that. So it is on the other side. It is moving. So the fan will be on. Switch is in the on mode. The state of the switch will be in two different. State could be off or on. It could be off or on. You are checking any condition. You want to check biggest among 3 numbers, or you just want to check among 2 numbers, which one is bigger. If A is greater than B, if A is greater than B, you display something. Okay, else you display something else. The meaning is that if A is greater than B, if the condition is true, A is greater. So you are changing the state. You have only 2 values. By checking the condition, you are changing the value, or you are checking the eligibility for voting. If you are above 18, yes, you are eligible. Yes, you are not eligible. The state of that will be eligible, not eligible. The eligible and not eligible will be checked by the condition of the age. Okay, so like that, anything. So power off, when the power goes off, these are all the things happen. When the power is on, these things will be happening. So that will be depicted by the behavioral model. Then class model, any class diagram and collaboration diagram. As I mentioned, when there is an interaction between the classes, it turns to collaboration, right? You inherit some properties from the existing class, or you pass some data from one class to another class, or you make one particular operator, okay, and you assign extra functions to that, and you get to know what is operator overloading. Okay, so you give an instruction, you give an interface, you create an interface. When it is integer data type, you act as a normal operator. When it is a class object, you are adding 2 objects. Plus cannot add anything else. Plus can add only integer, float, double, only these preliminary data values could be added by plus, but still I am trying to add object, 2 objects. So where I am giving extra work to that, and I have to give a proper interface to that, and I am establishing interaction between 2 classes, which could be modeled by this. Finally, flow model. It could be probably of data flow. Data only can flow, not anything else. Okay, it may be a raw data, or it may be a processed data, or it may be an intermediate value from one class to another class, or one function to another function. So how the data is flowing. So in simple, you can remember just like your flow chart. Flow chart is a very, very simplest data flow diagram. Like that, for any project we will be drawing a data flow diagram, which you are already aware. You would have drawn some block diagram for your IAB project, right? That is nothing but but when you say where my function, this block does this function, this block does this function, we say it is functional diagram or a block diagram. When the data is moving from one block to another block, so this block, it is like a consecutive, you have a operation like this, A plus C star D divided by F, like this. Okay, so we know that when plus multiplication division are there, we need to check the precedence and all. Priority we have to see. So then this thing, among this thing, it can be of anything. So it is understood that there is a bracket over here. How the process will be taken place? So this will be computed first, okay, and then this will be computed, and that data will be considered for this addition. Okay, suppose in the same priority you are doing something. If this is the case, first you perform A plus B. The processed thing will be considered as one input, and then this will be another input. Subtraction will be taken place, and that result will be taken as one input, and B will be another input, and then you perform addition. Data flow is first block and then next block. So data flows as a intermediate value or intermediate values or the data across the functional blocks. Jessica, you have any doubt? Okay, so how the data is flowing across the functional blocks or throughout the system is depicted using flow model, right? So what is very important here, what you need to know about the use cases, user cases and user stories is we need to know the preliminary use cases. As I mentioned, the preliminary use cases based on the actor. Okay, suppose the same example what is given in our book only I'll take. Okay, so a house owner who wants to set a CCTV camera. Okay, please listen carefully the story, and then you need to identify what are all the things will be done over there. Okay, so I have planned to keep a CCTV camera for my house. So I am the actor. I am the house owner who is planning to do. So now I am approaching a agency who will be able to give me this service, right? So I am the actor of that service. So he will be asking me the requirements. He will be asking me the cost and the location where it needs to be fixed, and the system to which it needs to be connected, and the internet from where I will be getting it, right? Which kind of internet, whether it is going to be a Wi-Fi, so that Wi-Fi needs to be connected to some system, and this CCTV data should be connected or should be retrieved from the system to which it is getting connected, right? So these are all the requirements he will be asking me. Once I give, he will be able to give a CCTV connection. So இதுக்கு ஒரு சிம்பிளா ஒரு use case diagram வரையணும் அப்படின்னா what are all very simple simple diagram I am asking. So it could be of house owner. Okay, so house owner will be the actor. So he may give me some requirements, some 2-3 requirements he will be giving me. So whatever the requirement I give. Okay, so I am here giving the I want to fix the CCTV camera or fixing of CCTV and the system which I am going to use it, and the internet from where I am going to whether it is going to be a mobile data or it may be a Wi-Fi. So these are all the things provided by the actor, or idellame actor based informations. The remaining things, cost and how he is going to deploy that, all those things are other part. So I am considering here only the house owner or home owner. Home owner is the actor. So that actor, the diagram will look like this only. Okay, so whatever the activity I want to learn, that I will be representing using an oval, and the actor will be represented by this picture which will be available in the tool. When I go to the lab, already some people have practiced in that. Just pick it up and drag and drop. Okay, so how you establish representation only is very important. Okay, fine. So one more thing, UML model that supplement to the use case. This simple overall how exactly it will be processed, how it can be represented. That I will show you now. UML model that supplement the use case. My use case is that, okay, so UML model which is going to supplement that will be exactly how it will be. So I will start with Have you noticed last class, last lab class? So when we are checking, yeah, it is fixed now. CCTV is fixed. How it is going to be processed? Illa when I am planning ஒரு CCTV நான் வந்து deploy பண்ணும்போது fix பண்ணும்போது how it is going to work ன்றத I am going to show you. If somebody is asking you a route from one place to another place, so we will start drawing it. Okay, somebody is asking you the address, how to come to your house, so immediately you will start, okay, this is your place now, from here you should come this way, that way. Nowadays Google Map is available, but still we will direct them like that only, how you have to reach to my place. So that can be drawn, that can be shown by some simple drawing. So in the same way we are going to see a simple drawing for the use case diagram. Uml activity diagram, take down. Uml activity diagram supplements the use case by providing a graphical representation, within a specific scenario. Uml activity diagram supplements the use case by providing a graphical representation of the flow of interaction. Graphical representation of the flow of interaction within a specific scenario. That is what is called Uml activity diagram. So to check the CCTV footage, what are all the things will be done? It's not fixed, it's just an idea only. Dhanush, you are attending? by half itself you can get some idea. So when we are checking it, first the authorized person has to enter with their password. Suppose somebody else who is not supposed to check the CCTV footage or trying with the username and password, definitely it will not be validated. So it will ask for, it will say invalid password. Suppose some strangers only, but they are taking the username and password from the authorized people, then it may go well. So the remaining part will see next. Okay.